My name's David Alter. I'm a cardiologist here in Toronto. I'm a scientist, and I'm a musician. And today we're talking about music and health. And we have a very illustrious panel with us that's going to take us through this. Music and health is an emerging science. When one looks at the evolving evidence of music in medicine, you can see an escalation in the amount of publications just looking at music in medicine since the 70s. And it's escalating at a rate that's actually faster than all the literature in medicine combined. Music is a form of holistic therapy. Today we're talking about music. We could be talking about religion. We could be talking about spirituality. And the important thing about holistic care is that, you know, programs like these, like cardiac rehabilitation, health and wellness programs in general, what they're trying to do is change patient behaviors, right? We're trying to get you to exercise. We're trying to get you to eat right, to manage your stress right, stopping smoking. These are not pills. These are not gadgets. These are behaviors. And when we start going into behaviors, we see that no two people are the same. And there are some that embrace holistic attributes and some who don't. On the science side, the medical side, doctors and scientists, we tend to shy away from holistic care, in part because we can't quantify it. It's hard to reproduce. It's hard to make it standardized. So we're a little bit scared of it. We're scared a little bit about the boundaries with which one can go and say something works when we can't prove it. And that runs two risks. At the very worst, there's a fragmentation in messaging between the patient and the doctor. Because for some patients, holistic care, in this case music, can be very important. And the lack of engagement or embracing from doctors will really become self-evident. And sometimes the messaging just doesn't resonate with the patient if you can't speak the same language. At the very least, if we ignore holistic attributes of individuals, our programs like cardiac rehab and health and wellness will not necessarily be as efficient and as successful as it can. This sort of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde relationship with holistic care and science is something that kind of I live every day. I've been told I'm a lot like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, sometimes at the same moment. You know, the Mr. Hyde part of me is somebody who can't live, quite honestly, without music. Can't live without it. I breathe it, I live it, I exercise with it, I do it in my sleep, I do it when I'm awake. The Dr. Jekyll in me says that it ain't real unless you prove it. And then the Mr. Hyde goes to Dr. Jekyll and says, I don't really care if it's proven. I'm not going to change my patterns of music loving no matter what you show, whether it's positive or negative. And that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde conflict that I feel every day is really what this panel is about today. We've assembled a group of individuals, all of whom come at it as a bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? They're all providers of care or scientists or organizers of certain groups that need to think in terms of programs, need to think in terms of standardization to be able to deliver it properly. And on the flip side, they're also musicians or avid music lovers. So with that, I am going to introduce the panel. And then what we're going to do today is we're going to sort of I'm going to pose some questions to each of the panel members. We're going to sort of walk our way through different aspects of music and medicine, and at the end, try and put it all together. How does a sound and a song create an imprint in the brain?
The brain is actually quite remarkable in how it processes sound, both for language and for music. So your ear is exquisite. The sound waves get translated into neural firing patterns through the auditory nerve, through about 7 subcortical way stations where all kinds of interesting things are calculated until it reaches cortex. And these images you see here are actually of cortex. Then in auditory cortex, we start to perceive things like pitch and rhythm patterns and so on, the kinds of things that you need for music, for musical patterns. But the auditory cortex isn't enough. When musical sound is presented, it also activates areas of the brain that have to do with emotion. It also, even if you don't move, when you hear a musical piece, it activates parts of your brain that have to do with movement. So it activates parts of the motor cortex. And that's because you often associate dancing or moving in time to music. Music, when you hear, especially if you hear a familiar musical tune, it will activate your hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, as well as you're retrieving memories that you've established that have to do with that piece. So for instance, if you heard a piece of music and you say, oh, that's the piece that was played when I first met my husband. Okay, that, you have a memory of that in your brain, and when you hear that piece, that memory will be activated. So actually, when you play music to someone, it activates a number of different areas of the brain having to do with a whole bunch of different processes. And I think that's one of the reasons why music actually can be such a powerful stimulus, because you have an emotional reaction to it, you're perceiving it, it activates memories from the past, and it activates motor areas of the brain as well. So that's the 2-minute version.
How does music help the recovery of a cardiac patient in terms of their emotional responses after, say, a heart attack or bypass surgery?
It's very typical with my clients that in one point of therapy process, they say me that they start to express with me that this music that we are listening or improvising together or something like that, it actually sounds as my feelings feel. So they start to say something like that. This music sounds as my feelings feel. And this is because of the limbic system has been activated. Something there, memories, emotions, associations, something is similar in music that was maybe in their life. And very often my clients, they express that they have this huge numbness, that there's no feelings. It's almost like all the feelings are frozen. There's no words. It's all like frozen. And I don't remember who was the composer. I think it was Mendelssohn who actually said that music begins when words end. And I think it's sometimes so true with people who kind of feel this numbness in their life. They have all these feelings, but they're all blocked inside. They're all frozen, but they are still there. But sometimes music can sound as these feelings feel. And it's all because of brain, because this limbic system is activating, and it's very much like this computer memory that we have inside, and every single experience we ever had in our lives is actually there. And sometimes something that happens in music, like, for example, conflict and conflict resolution, tension in music, that maybe activates something in our brain. And the whole therapeutic idea of music in music psychotherapy is that music is actually containing that feeling and holding that feeling. So then this person doesn't have to feel that I'm not, that she or he is not alone anymore with that horrible, heavy feeling, because music is actually carrying that feeling. Sometimes we have people who are actually full of anxiety. They are angry. Like you can see that this person is angry. What kind of music you play? Not calming music, but you try to find music that has some kind of elements of anger or anxiety, some kind of something that anger has inside, so that they can actually relate with that. And then they can start discussing about the whole topic that, no, it's not actually only this music that is angry, but it's me too. I've been having this feeling for a long time. And then we can start communicating about it.